Welcome to the Automotive Diagnostic Podcast. We're going to explore ways to sharpen our diagnostic skills, find learning resources, and hear from experts in the automotive field. This episode is brought to you by AutoRescueTools.com and Isaac Rodell. If you are looking to get into module programming, but you are not sure what kind of laptop you're going to need or how to set it up for programming, Isaac is your guy. He can set up laptops specifically to do control module programming for specific brands with partitioned hard drives and all the software that you're going to need to do this. He also sells key cutting equipment, scan tools, and other diagnostic equipment. I bought some stuff from him in the past, and the support is phenomenal. So I highly recommend checking out the website. Again, that's AutoRescueTools.com. The link will be in the show notes. Hey, what's going on, automotive world? Welcome to another episode of the Automotive Diagnostic Podcast. My name is Sean Tipping. I'll be your host once again for this week's episode. On the show, joining me this week is Haresh Gobin. Haresh is with Launch USA, and we sat down and chatted at AAPEX in Las Vegas earlier this month, November 2024, and we talked all about Launch and some of the things that they've got going on that they have to offer and some of the development of their tools. You know, I had some questions regarding the ADAS equipment and maybe some stuff that they've struggled with as far as breaking into a new area of automotive, and then areas that they've done well. So this is a great talk, and it's great to meet Haresh. So with that out of the way, let's jump into the interview. All right, how's it going? Is it Haresh? Haresh.
Yeah.
All right. How is AAPEX going for you?
AAPEX has been good. We're making a lot of connections, a lot of networking with a lot of our existing clients, new clients. Kind of scoping out the scape of our competitors and the market and the industry and the trends.
Cool.
Overall, it's been good.
Well, yeah, why don't we start off, tell everybody who you're with, what you do, how long you've been doing it.
Oh, thank you. My name is Haresh, and I am the Business Development Manager for Launch Tech USA.
Okay.
Launch, we are in the diagnostics, ADAS, and alignment space. And we also have an extensive portfolio of products all the way from DIY to professional scan tools.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely used some Launch stuff over the years. This is a while back, but it was the Diagun 4.
Yeah.
For the cost of the tool and what it did at the time, that was an amazing little tool. Like, I remember going into shops and doing the Mercedes air suspension calibration with this little thing that's basically like a cell phone.
Yeah.
And then the shop owner's pissed because he has a $12,000 Snap-on Zeus that won't even touch the car.
Yeah.
I definitely used some Launch stuff. How long you been with Launch?
5 years.
Okay.
But back to what you just said, at the time, the Diagun Evo was just an amazing tool, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of the scope of what you did, and you said it, you compared it to like some professional tools. So, and that's just an example of Launch has been in the marketplace for over 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And as a global company, we basically provide diagnostic solutions for every continent in the world. So in terms of our competitors, I would say that we are truly aligned with our marketing tagline, which is the global leader in vehicle diagnostics, because we cover all bases. From the DIY guys that are weekend warriors to the professional technicians.
Sure.
Serving all the needs.
Various price points depending on what your needs are, for sure. And you got all the ADAS stuff. I do a lot of top-down stuff, but I know that a lot of that is just based off of the Launch tooling. Like, I have the ADAS set up and it says Launch right on the box that the stuff came in.
Definitely influences.
Yeah, right. But it's always been really, like, encompassing software for the diagnostic world, and then also just kind of seamless, easy to work with. Like we do, again, we use the top-down ones, but we that's our first grab for like vehicle scans and reports, just because like it's so easy to and quick, and yeah, it just works. So this is something I'm curious about, actually. So when it comes to buying tools, right, most of the listeners, not all of them, but most of the listeners are in the US. Can you speak to like the difference of buying something from a distributor in the US or like going on Amazon or something like that and getting it from a Chinese market? Like what would be the difference in that, or what would you recommend if somebody's looking to buy some of that stuff?
Very good question. Very good point. It's a major topic out there.
Yeah.
So if we jump on Google right now and we search launch scan tool, of course, we're going to have hits come back from Amazon, eBay, right?
Yeah.
So the difference is, as I mentioned, a couple questions ago, Launch is a global company. So we make diagnostic solutions for every continent in the world. So some of those tools are not meant for the U.S. market.
Sure.
Yeah, those are overseas tools that is somehow, we can't prevent who buys it in boatloads or truckloads and brings it over here and throws it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Right? So the main difference would be distributor in the U.S. will have the proper licenses. That would be a U.S. intended market tool, scan tool, and also it will come with the support, which is invaluable. Right?
Okay.
You have access to the level 1 of that distributor's, particular distributors' support channels, and then level 2, which is our launch customer support that's based in California.
Sure. And that's where I've talked to some people that, they get a tool and, hey, it's great, it works, whatever. But then when there's an issue with it, and if you've got to get a hold of somebody in China, like, good luck,
You're the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
So a deep, dark hole there.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I've tried to pass on that information to, the people that have reached out to me on like advice for like, hey, well, where should I buy a tool from or whatever? Well, just consider, what are you going to do when there is an issue with it? Like, what's the path that you're going to take in order to get that fixed or get the problem corrected? So, that's, definitely important.
So does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely.
And I
think
we're trying to clear up that conception. I mean, that misconception out there, and it's difficult, because it's the internet, it's the World Wide Web, the Wild West, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But we as a company, we're doing, different. We're trying to take on different campaigns through education. So, and then we're also, making it the price points very attainable to have like a valid U.S. market tool with a subscription of software that's going to be beneficial to the DIY guy or the professional technician, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
What you guys got anything new you're demoing here at the show or anything cool?
Yeah. So basically, we've come out with the new aligner. It's basically 2 pods that mounts on mounts parallel on both sides of the lift, and they communicate through a signal. And then those pods also have cameras in them that read the targets on the wheels. And at the same time, it's being Bluetooth to the scan tool, so you're basically running the alignment off the interface of the scan tool.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's an app on our X431 platform. So
is that for the ADAS components, or is this like physical wheel alignments?
Physical wheel alignment, but we also have ADAS software also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's every launched X431 scan tool comes with ADAS software. But the software is activated when the client or the customer at the shop attains the physical ADAS.
Yeah, they get like an activation card with it.
Code, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's the targeting system that X431 setup that we use primarily, and it's been really good. Covers everything well, and so the only issues I've had end up being something with the atmosphere or the environment or the car. Right, and then I have yet to run into any issues with the actual targets or anything like that.
And I want to add 2 more things to answer your question that we're featuring here is our latest scan tool, it's the Throttle 5.
Okay.
It is upgraded in terms of hardware. and the case. It's just a much sleeker design, and it's just a lot more lighter.
Okay.
So, and it still has a 13.3-inch screen, the still massive hardware capabilities in terms of memory,
Okay.
processor, with our full software suite.
Okay.
So that's one of the features. And lastly, the next feature is when ADAS was kind of 4 or 5 years ago, a lot of companies were introducing ADAS solutions to the market. ADAS was kind of like the Wild Wild West because it was overwhelming a lot of shops, and only if you were a big venture, a big collision shop, or or the OE dealer, would you have the resources to invest into ADAS.
Yep.
And with that said, when a lot of the aftermarket companies such as ourselves and some others started to offer ADAS packages, the price tag still added up.
Yep.
So what we've done now is through statistics and research and just data of being in the field, with our clients, our distributors doing ADAS calibrations, we've segmented ADAS into 2 different products. So if you're a glass shop, you're gonna need the solution, which is the X431 ADAS Mobile Plus, with the frame that folds up and mounts the panels.
Yep.
Right? But then if you're mostly, if you're a collision shop, most likely you're not going to be doing a lot of those calibrations. You're doing radar calibrations. So with that, we had to have another product, which is called the ADAS 3-in-1.
Yep, we got that. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so how's that been for you?
Oh,
What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, fantastic. So we actually have both. We had the mobile. I got the deluxe package. That was my first purchase and what we were running with first. Yeah, so what we do is mobile programming and calibrations. Like we go to shops and do it.
Uh-huh.
So we have the mobile one, and we still use that for the camera calibrations. But then because we got multiple vans and you got to be in all kinds of different places, we got the 3-in-1 because the radars were the most common call that we get. Right? We do plenty of cameras, but the radar is definitely the most common.
I think there were statistics that said it was like 92% of calibrations are going to be radar.
And so I got my other guy the 3-in-1, and so he's used both, and he absolutely loves the 3-in-1, especially for the Nissan and Volkswagen Audi radar setup. Just getting it set up is so much less work than doing it on the big stand, the one that I have, or the mobile one. Setting it up on that 3-in-1 is so easy. So yeah, we've definitely made good use of that tooling.
And then on the cone reflector one, it's mostly Toyotas, right? Toyotas.
Yeah, we do lots of Toyotas. We're getting Mazdas, Kia Hyundais. That's probably the majority of what we do is those. And we do like the dynamic stuff, but for the stuff that requires targets, it's covered us pretty well.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever been faced with the challenge of sourcing, installing, and programming a used control module in a vehicle? I know a lot of us have. It seems to be happening more and more often today with the volume of control modules on vehicles, the cost of some new ones, or even the availability of new control modules. In some cases, used may be the only option. So what do you do here? I strongly recommend checking out SJ Auto Solutions and Tommy Oliva. Tommy offers a cloning service for used control modules to make these things plug and play for the vehicle that you're working on. In a lot of cases, he is also able to source the control modules if you're unable to locate one for the vehicle that you're working on. But once you get connected with Tommy, he's going to offer fantastic support from start to finish to make sure that that control module is going to work in your application. He's also got tech support that he offers through his website, along with some free resources there as well on information about used control module programming. So make sure to check out SJ Auto Solutions. I can't recommend that enough. I'd say the ones we have the most trouble with, and again, it's not really the tooling necessarily, but is the environment and the lighting, is the around view calibration. We have some of the mats too that came with it, but those are probably the most problematic and most work to get those types of calibrations done.
It's nice to talk to someone that we're not just talking about some concepts. You're actually doing calibrations. You actually understand the products.
Yeah.
And then so that's really good for me to hear.
Well, it's like a lot of stuff in automotive, it's easy until it isn't, right? Like, if you can measure and you can hit some buttons and set up a stand, like you can do a lot of these calibrations until it doesn't work. And then you have to like figure out, you have to sort through like what could be preventing this calibration from going, right? Yeah. Is the radar bracket bent at an angle that doesn't allow it? Is there something, like is there a sticker with reflective surface on the inside of the bumper? Did they mount the radar unit backwards?
Yeah.
Is there some angle of the car that's and so then or lighting if it's a camera situation? So then you got to sort through these things one by one to try to determine where's my area of fault, and then that's where it becomes something where like just not anybody can hop in and do it. But that's part of our service,
base, right? Of doing it over and over, and you've seen that.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah,
and 90% of problems when we run into one, it's something bent or out of position or a bracket that's broken. That's almost always what we deal with. And a lot of collision shops, that's who our customers are for that type of work. So. Nice. That's what I tell my guys, like, hey, if it ain't working, let's figure out what's bent or broken, and then we'll be able to get through this. So
absolutely.
But yeah, on the tooling side of it works great.
Yeah, well, that's good for me to hear, man.
Cool.
So
you call it the Throttle 5 was the scan tool. So is that like the full-fledged diagnostic tool? Is that like the flagship tool for what you guys have?
It replaced, I wouldn't say it replaced, it's just another option to the Throttle 3.
Okay.
And the Throttle 3 was also a 13.3 inch screen, but it was a little more bulkier.
Okay.
So it's just our profile as a company, as a brand is, we're not one of those companies that's going to take a year to come out with a new product. We're always pushing the envelope, always dropping new releases, because we know the people that use our products, they have come to expect that from us, right?
Mm-hmm.
This forward pushing, forward progression, new tools to the market. Not all of them will sell off the shelves like crazy, but at the same time, we're just being consistent to our image, just always bringing solutions.
Is there an area that you can think of where you guys were trying to get into something or create something that just didn't pan out, that didn't have the reception that you thought it would?
I would say, I think that was kind of like the re-strategy with the ADAS. As I referred a little while ago, about 5 years ago, we released some ADAS solutions to the market. And we weren't really understanding the segments of the glass shops and the collision,
sure,
right? And who's going to need an around view and who's going to need mats, right? And we were just trying to push this whole package out there. So I think part of it is ADAS, and I don't think we've fully pushed and reached our maximum in terms of maximizing this product in terms of visibility and mass adoptance to the market yet, right? So there's still a lot more work to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we're up for that challenge, and we're working through it. But the ADAS field, it's new, right?
Yep.
And we still have a lot of small shops that don't even come across an ADAS code, and
well, they're replacing components and have no clue that they're supposed to be calibrated after you take this component off, or you removing a bumper, you're supposed to do this calibration. And we've been fighting with that too. It's just the education on you should be doing this according to the OE's position statement based on repair. So
I think that's a good point, and I agree with you. And we're up for the challenge, and we understand it's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to be accomplished with commitment, and that's what we're committed to that, right? Because we're not going anywhere. We've been in the market for three decades, more than 3 decades. We have a global imprint. Like I mentioned earlier, we serve every continent in the world. So it's that commitment that we're
the research and development for tooling. How much of that happens over here in the States versus China, or is it?
Actually, the States play a critical part to it.
Okay.
I'm part of that team.
Okay.
Where we assess, because to serve anything, in any space, in any industry, you need to understand the market, right? So, and you need to understand the consumer. So we have a team here in America that works very closely with the manufacturing team and the development teams in China, in terms of what products fit the profile of the American technician, the American consumer,
sure,
in terms of like usability, in terms of like interface. So yeah, we do have a team here in the U.S. It's heavily, that heavily influences, our operations outside of the U.S.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And to know, what vehicles are on the road being serviced the most often, because those are the tools that,
And to understand the American technician, right? So I come from a shop environment. My family had 2 shops in Southern California. One of our shops was the last shop before you got to Mexico. On the border. So I've seen it all in terms of the profile. I understand it from behind the counter. And what's the information source for the average technician across America? You want to answer that? Take a guess.
I would imagine.
I'll give you a hint. It's something on wheels.
Something on wheels? I was gonna say Google or YouTube for the average tech right now.
For the new technician. But I'm talking about like our dads. Right?
Okay.
A lot of our dads and stuff on our, those guys that are a little older, they're still working.
Yeah.
So it would be the tool truck.
Sure.
Whatever brand. Right?
Okay.
So the tool truck is the holy grail. And when you jump on that tool truck, they get up to speed on what's out there.
Sure.
Like in this area when they're taking out this manifold, they need a wrench or a socket that was curved or angular, right? And it's there.
Yep.
Because the tool truck company understands what they're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, they have their finger on the pulse.
Yeah, so I think that's the key to like any company to be successful. Because I'm an American. I've been here since I was like 5 years old. So the American consumer demands more, right? And one good thing about this market is that we have options.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We have options.
Well, it's demonstrated pretty well here at this show too. The industry is so huge. There's so many smaller pieces that go into it than you would think. Like, we look at all the different vendors here with all the different parts and programs and softwares and stuff, and it's just wild how much stuff there is out there.
Absolutely. And that's good, right? That's called a free market. It encourages innovation. And like I said before, options, and it's just, we're always pushing the envelope to get the job done faster, but with quality.
Sure. Yeah. Is there any area right now that you're aware of that really hasn't been capitalized on yet in the automotive space, at least by the aftermarket companies?
I think I would say it's informatics.
Okay.
Yeah. Because what's happened, in my opinion, and I'm talking about the lens of being behind the counter for many years as that guy, at one point I had access to all different informatics, the Mitchells, the AllDatas, the Identifix. And to get the job done correctly, you need to use
all of them. Yep.
And what's happened, what I think is the opportunity, there has not been one element to just come and centralize everything.
Okay.
Like each one of them have their strong points.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree. And we experience the same thing. Like, we got to have all of them.
So I think once that happens, that's an area that needs to be grown and developed more. The informatics is still kind of lagging behind.
Yeah, it is. There's a skill set to just being able to navigate it and find the information that you need. The search functions are getting better. I think in the next 5 years or so, we might see some of the large language model technology be incorporated into the existing.
Are you referring to the AI?
Yeah.
It's already happening.
Yeah, and I'm sure it probably is, but seeing it released within AllData or Identifix or something like that, and then being able to interact with something that has immediate access to all the database and give you a curated answer based on exactly what you're asking, like that'll be a game changer for a lot of techs out in the field for sure. But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Is that it's like you almost we have to have multiple service information sources right
You know
now.
one thing about our X430 platform, maybe it's a good time to mention, we've incorporated the motor fix database into
Oh,
the scan
okay.
tool. So when you buy a scan tool, X430 scan tool, you get a subscription.
Oh,
to
nice.
that motor. So Motor's doing good things. They're really investing in their product. They're kind of a new kid on the block in the sense that they're one of the newer informatic databases.
Sure.
But they're doing a really good job in terms of centralizing the information, having the right diagrams, having the right R&R procedures, the right schematics, and making it accessible.
Sure.
So that is we have branded it on our platform as X431 Fix.
Oh, okay.
So that's in our scan tools now.
Cool. And so like if you have a current subscription with the tool, you have access to that
Yeah.
too. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
it depends on which distributor you buy it from, right? So like if you buy a new scan tool from one of our distributors, some of them have different deals going on. You might get a year or 2 years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you'd like to share or?
No, man, I didn't. Actually, you exceeded my expectations. You're so knowledgeable.
I put on a good show. These
Yeah.
guys know otherwise. So.
A lot of time, I've joined podcasts before, but no one. A lot of times they don't get in the weeds as you did.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
We're in the field every day doing it. So that's yeah. So these guys work with me and Mike and Steve and
Shout out to Mike and Steve.
yeah.
Yeah. So thank you
Cool.
guys. Automotive Diagnostic Podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for spending some time, and we'll if there's any links or anything, we'll get them in the show notes after. I'll get your info here, but thank you. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Haresh for spending some time with me at AAPEX. That was fun. And again, I'd like to thank everybody for listening to the show and all the feedback that we get. Keep that coming. If you got any ideas for the show, you'd like to be a guest on the show, reach out to me either in the email that you'll find in the show notes or shoot me a message on Facebook, and we'll get something set up. I'm always interested to talk to passionate, interesting people in the automotive industry. But with all that out of the way, let's get out there, start fixing the world one car at a time.